We're
We're
probably
here.
live. We've probably been live.
Oh yeah, they've probably been live for half an hour, but they they tell you, oh no, you got to fill in this line too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome everyone.
Well,
My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and I got Andrea on the line here with us. And sorry we're late today, um, but we're here. We're here. You know, it goes to prove that with modern technology, we can work and work and do other work at the same time.
right. And hello, everyone. It's a surprise today what we're going to talk about because the doc hasn't informed me.
Oh, I don't even know yet.
It sounds normal.
Seriously, no, I've been. My buddy had some car troubles, so I'm trying to help him. That's why I'm in my car wearing my winter jacket again. Thank God it's not that cold up. But anyhow, yeah. So folks, thanks for joining us today. And and my name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick. This is my friend Andrea, and we're here live every Tuesday. Today we're a little bit late getting on, about 45 minutes late. But Andrea, let's just talk about. Oh, where we go? Let's just talk about where we
I
go.
have low battery. I'm going to run and get a cord. Keep
All
talking.
right. All right. Well, then you won't hear what I'm going to talk about. So,
I can hear you.
all right. Well, so everyone, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to talk a little bit about, you know, what do we do to stay healthy? What do Andrea and I do to stay healthy? And I might bring up a couple things that, um, you know, maybe it's a touchy subject with some people, and so but let's do it anyhow. You know,
You're going to pick on people
so
today.
yeah, but your screen went off again.
Oh,
Are you still there?
I'm there.
Are you?
I just touched
No,
the
you're
button. There.
all right. All right, folks. So Andrea's going to keep flipping her screen on and off, but you know, Andrea, I mean, we're going to wing it today. Today's called winging it.
Winging it. I think we should promote what's going to happen Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night. You'll have to join us. We're gonna do a talk on. We're gonna do testimonials. We haven't done a sizzle testimonial talk in a while, have we?
Right. And it will be right here on Doctor's Clinic Facebook page.
Yeah,
So
we'll
everyone
bring.
can just tune in and find out what's been happening.
Yeah, we got some great testimonials. I was just talking to my friend this morning, and like me, he's one of the test subjects on the new weight loss product.
Awesome.
and I've lost 14 pounds. I haven't really lost any in December because I've had a lot of stuff going on where I just really haven't concentrated on it. But my friend, he's been on it and he's lost over 25 pounds in 5 weeks.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so he's going to share that with us on Friday, and share some information about that. We'll get some other testimonials. We'll get some people talking about some um, serious health situations that they've had that they've dealt with and what they've done about it.
And what time is that Friday night, Doc?
So that'll be 7 o'clock Eastern time.
7
7 o'clock
o'clock
Eastern.
Eastern time, right
Six
here
Central.
on Doctor's Clinic, Doc Fist with Friends Facebook page.
There you go. There you go. So
Yeah.
Andrea, you sound pretty good today. Last week you were dealing with some serious health issues, weren't you?
Yeah, I pretty much recovered. Still working
Yeah.
on a few issues, but we're doing good.
Yeah. Do you want to tell people what you were suffering from?
Sure. I had COVID and
COVID.
learned a whole lot of stuff in the last 3 weeks. So basically, my lungs are still congested, and I'm working with different things to help with that. One
Yeah.
of them is fucoidin, of course. I'm taking
Yeah.
this 2 or 3 times a day to keep my immune system strong and keep energy in there.
Yeah. Fucoidin.
Um,
Let me talk a little bit about that, Andrea, before we move
okay.
on. Fucoidin has an extract that comes from brown seaweed, lima mui,
Mm-hmm.
and that comes from the South Pacific. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, I take lima mui," or "I've taken it before." The difference is that that most companies, most scientists haven't figured out how to extract all of the fucose molecules, and that's the active ingredient in the brown seaweed. And Tom Senior
Mhm.
actually got a Genius Award for figuring out how to extract all the fucose molecules, and then on top of that, on top of extracting all the fucose molecules, he figured out how to sulfonate them. And it's the highly sulfonated fucose molecules that actually makes our product so strong. And it's patented. Nobody else can do it. Nobody can copy what we've done. And it's like, I mean, realistically, it's probably 1,000 or 1,500 times more powerful than any other fucose or lima mui product on the market.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've seen the machine that he designed to do all that, which is patented, and it's amazing. It's the size of a room. It's pretty crazy.
Yep,
Very
and
cool.
it extracts the fucose, it sulfonates it, and then so we've got a product that what the fucoidan does is it helps with supporting. That's how we have to say it. It supports the healthy immune system. It helps to optimize
Mhm.
the function. Right? We can talk about function. It optimizes the function.
Yeah.
Some other things that they found is that not only does it help with the immune system, but it helps to remove some toxic stuff and they find that it helps with it supports healthy kidney function, which is
Hmm.
really important as well. So tell us a little bit more about what your disease and what you've learned. I didn't mean to
Well,
interrupt, but
like the first few days, I didn't know that's what I had. And I had just ordered some Fucoidan. My grandson got sick, so I gave him a third of my bottle. And then my neighbor and I both got sick about the same night. But before I started feeling bad, he felt bad. And so I gave him a third of my Fucoidan bottle and said, like take a tablespoon every 2 hours. And so that left me with a third of my Fucoidan. And right after I gave him a third of that bottle, I came home and I started not feeling good. And I didn't think,
what was your initial symptoms?
um, just, feeling a little bit feverish and just in general not feeling good. Nothing drastic. And that's why I didn't think it was COVID. I thought it was just, something I picked up somewhere. And
Yeah.
so I took the Fucoidan, extra strength and everything. And in a couple of days, I felt better. A couple days, he felt better. And he went out hunting at the farm, and I got up and started living life again. And so I didn't realize, that it was probably if I'd had my Fucoidan and I didn't run out, I may not have gotten so seriously ill, but I did. And so for the next 3 days, I was busy doing a project where I was painting in an apartment. And the second day in, I started going, oh, I feel kind of hot doing this job. And I started cracking windows more. And then I realized that I had a little fever going on. So it kind of came back on me. Well, in the meantime, my neighbor came back from going out to that farm, and he just basically crashed. He walked in the house and went right to bed. And he didn't get out of bed for like 3 days. He also didn't eat, and he didn't drink much. And by the time he decided he needed some help, we just took him to the hospital. But
Wow.
yeah.
So he went from, like you, just kind of feeling like, oh, I don't feel very good, kind of,
Hmm.
sluggish to full blown COVID in just in a matter of days.
Well, I think a lot of that, he had chills, muscle aches. I had muscle aches. He had chills really bad. He couldn't get warm. And he just laid in bed because he didn't feel strong. He didn't feel good. And he just didn't get enough nutrition in him, and he wasn't getting enough hydration. So he ended up in the hospital that day and that night, actually.
Hmm.
So they hooked him up to IVs, and got the glucose going and everything. And the next day, like, he felt good after they did that. Um,
So let me ask this: how old is your neighbor, approximately?
72.
72. And
Mhm.
what was his health like prior to coming down with COVID?
Perfectly healthy.
Perfectly. No,
He
no
doesn't
chronic
take any
health issues.
medication, no medications at
No,
all. No,
not diabetic, anything like that.
no,
And is he overweight?
not at all. Mm-mm.
Not at all. And
Very
yourself
active
neither.
man,
Yeah,
right?
you're active.
No,
You're not overweight
I'm
as well.
active.
And yeah, and you don't have any health issues. So when folks say that, oh no, I'm healthy, I'm not going to get COVID because I'm healthy. That's not true at all, is it?
No, because here I take extra supplements and stuff. Other than I ran out of a couple of things I was taking just before that, and
Yeah.
he went in and they actually, had um, the, the breathing people, respiratory therapists come up and check him out and stuff, and said, "Oh, yeah, you're good," and sent him home.
Yeah.
And it was hours later that he was back in the hospital and ended up in ICU that night.
Yeah. So how long has it been since you since you guys were diagnosed?
Well, and when we got those initial symptoms, like it was a Thursday or Friday night after the 8th. So it's been like about 24 days.
And and so almost a month later, let's just say almost a month
Hmm.
later,
Yep.
3 weeks later,
3 weeks.
you're still feeling sick.
I don't really feel sick now. I just know that I still have lung congestion. So I'm
Yeah.
working on getting that resolved.
Or do you still test positive?
I never got a test.
Oh, okay.
I
Does
won't
does,
get a test.
does he still test positive?
They're not testing him.
Oh, they're just
They
said go
they
home.
tested him when he went in the hospital and he was positive.
Yeah, and they don't. But they're not having him come back now and saying, "Oh, you're still contagious" or anything like that. They just said go
No,
home. Okay,
no,
and
he's home. He's still on oxygen. He's
yeah,
still not getting around very good.
yeah, and he really wasn't taking the nutritional products like you are, um,
No. Mm-mm.
and that. So he's kind of chancing it, and he's still not taking the nutritional products as much as what he
He
probably
is
should.
taking vitamin. My daughter put him on vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc before he went in. And the interesting thing was, I have a granddaughter that's been working COVID ICU unit for the last 9 months, and they've actually made it a protocol where she works in Tennessee to give that to their patients.
Okay,
So when he was in, they asked, can he have this? And they were like, oh, well, we don't really give people vitamins and blah, blah, blah. Well, somebody must have got through to him, or they did some research or something. Like 2 days later, they said, yeah, we've ordered that for him. So they put him back on it, and now he's
good,
home. He's still taking it at home.
good. Good.
Yeah.
Well, we hear so much, I mean, here he is. He's 72. He's that prime age where they basically say, "Oh, you're one of the guys that are going to be in trouble," and he's recovered. And when you had it, I mean, did you lose your sense of taste? Did you lose your sense of smell?
Pretty much. Yeah.
You
I
did.
mean, it wasn't completely gone, but yeah, everything was bland. My toothpaste tasted weird and my mouthwash tasted weird. And yeah,
How about now?
yeah, it still tastes a little weird.
But it's coming
I
back or
can
it's
I
changing.
can smell better than I could, but yeah, it's not strong yet.
Okay. So folks, I mean that's some things that you want to listen to. I mean, Andrea's good health and she was taking some things, she was kind of slacking on a few things and that happens in life. People start slacking, you out of sight, out of mind kind of a thing. Um
Well, no, I didn't order the Fucoidan because the Stimuletic came back out and I wanted to get the Stimuletic. So,
okay.
yep.
Well, I'll tell you, um it's certainly a disease that you don't want to get. I mean, I think that sometimes people, like my son says, Dad, he said, don't minimize it so much. Even though my son Sammy, that's in medical school, I said, oh, the only reason I minimize it is because, the media makes it sound like, oh, crap, if you get it, you're not going to survive, right? And,
Right.
and, and some people won't, but that's, like less than a half of a percent is what they're actually
Mhm.
showing now. So I don't want to minimize it. So folks, if you've heard me before, I don't want to minimize it, but at the same time, I don't want people running around life being all scared and all that. I mean, and here we were talking to Andrea that's had it, and I mean, obviously you're looking
Mhm.
at her. This isn't pre-recorded.
I'm a
She
little.
survived, What
Yeah.
else?
Well, I just
And
want to say about that. I see a lot of people on social media going, "Oh, it's no more than the flu or a cold," and quite frankly, my opinion has changed, and now I say no, it is more than both of those. So
it's
um,
bad. It's bad. You don't want it.
you don't want it. And we have a chiropractor here in Michigan that has been doing a lot of videos. I watched him last night, and he was saying that he was explaining the research he's seen, and the whole big thing is here in Michigan about the mask and everything. And he said the research is showing this one particular research that if you are a foot away and somebody sneezes in your face, yes, you're going to get droplets on you. If you're 3 feet away, it was like 17% that you would get droplets on you. If you're 6 feet away, was less than 2% that you might get some of those droplets on you. Doesn't mean that you would get COVID. It just means that somebody 6 feet away might get some expiration droplets on you.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
that's
it's
why that's why they tell us to wear the mask, because those droplets, there's still going to be droplets coming out of their mouth when they cough or sneeze, but it's going to slow them down. It's going to be like a muffler.
right.
Like your car's not going to be so loud if your muffler's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the mask, right? And it's probably a good idea, right?
I don't know. He was explaining a lot of research about mask, and it doesn't really support the mask. But it's like if that will slow it down a little bit, go ahead and use it. I wasn't using a mask because I just didn't believe that it would protect you
Hmm.
from it. And
Oh,
the
I don't
research
think the
does
mask is
show
going to
that
protect you. Yeah.
well,
I
the
think it'll
research
protect
shows
other
that
people. Go ahead.
well, I'm good now. I can't give it to anybody. I've got all these great antigens in my body.
Yeah, you've got the antibodies now, but the studies from Europe, from the UK, showed that in about 3 months you've lost 25 to 30% of your antibodies, and in a year, the studies from UK says that you will have lost almost all of those antibodies that you built.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, and so it's like the other coronaviruses, right? Coronavirus. This isn't the only coronavirus like some people think. There's a lot of coronaviruses. It's just the type
Hmm.
of virus, and so they're saying it reacts a lot like the other coronaviruses, and you people build up immunity for about a year. So now Andrea, will have
Don't
Anna,
don't
will
talk
have
to me about Andrea.
yeah. But I'm just saying that's kind of what the studies are saying. So folks, I mean, so even if you're in shape and things like that, I was talking to another buddy of mine who out here in the rural North Dakota where I'm at, and he was in great shape too. I mean, you see him. I mean, he was in great shape, and he said, "Oh yeah," he said he felt like he was going to die. It got so bad. You know.
It gets a little touchy for a short time.
Yeah. So, I mean, going back to what we've been talking about for the last 9 months, I mean, you want to take your Fucoidan, like Andrea what talked about.
Hmm.
You want to take your vitamin D and your zinc and your vitamin C, like we've been talking about for the last 9 months, and uh,
Right.
and the Body Shield. Now, I know that Body Shield is out of stock right now. I mean, we had such a run on it all across the world because we're a global company. We've got sales offices, 48 different countries in the world. So of course we're going to run out of products every once in a while, and that's what happened.
Hmm.
And so it should be back in stock here this week. But Body Shield has an ingredient called fulvic acid, not folic acid, not vitamin B9. Fulvic, Fulvic. And fulvic acid, what it does is it attaches to the little spikes, the little um, um, crown points on the coronavirus, and like that, like her fingers, and it
Mhm.
attaches to that, and it prevents the virus from being able to attach to your cells, the little pokers, I guess, like Tom used to call them, and that's how it works, and we can't say prevent or cure or anything like that. I mean, we've actually presented you today that even when you're taking products, sometimes you can still get sick because this virus is that bad. It's like I tell people, that's why that we can never say nutritional products cure or prevent cancer, right? Because some cancers are so bad, no matter what you're doing, you might still end up with cancer. And
Yeah.
so we want to do everything that we possibly can just to lower your risk, lower, increase your survival rate and things like that. But so that's kind of what we ended up talking about today. Andrea, what else can you share from your experience with it?
Um, well, I used some homeopathic things because there is that risk of blood clots in your lungs. And my daughter got that for me like almost right away. As soon as we figured out, that's what was going on. She got that from her family doctor, and he's medically trained, and he also does homeopathic stuff.
Okay.
And so I got that from him. And he also, after, I got a little sicker a few days later, she was in contact with him, and he ordered me a Z-Pack. And, the whole thing is it's viral. So why would a Z-Pack help you? Right. But he said, because of your lungs being weakened, it turns into bacterial pneumonia.
Oh,
So
wow.
he put me on the Z-Pack, and I really kind of started getting better the second day I was on that Z-Pack. So
Okay.
um,
Okay.
I I showed last week on our call, I got a pulse oximeter that you measure your oxygen on your fingers. That was pretty important to have. I had one night that I was registering like 86, 87, 88. And, the girls were kind of, this was my daughter, and their dad was already in the hospital. And so then they turned their attention to me. So they were telling me to measure my oxygen every 20 minutes, like, how are you doing? How are you doing? And I went to bed late that night and measured it, and it was really low. It was lower than what they said. If it gets below this, you call us. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, I could breathe fine. I wasn't struggling to breathe. And I finally just was like, I'm tired. I'm not getting them up. I'm just going to go to sleep. So I did. But that was my bad night. And I did go in and see my daughter's doctor a couple days later. And he said, you probably, even though you were on that, you probably still had some blood clots in your lungs. He said, what they do is they form in the lungs. They're not like flowing through your veins or arteries or anything to, plug up your heart or your brain or anything like that. They form in the lungs and kind of just lay on the alveoli and shut off the exchange of oxygen. So that's why the oxygen goes so low. He said, you
Mm-hmm.
probably had that going on that night, but then
Mm-hmm.
like I continued to take that stuff. I was nebulizing with a product that somebody shared with me, and I got my hands on some of that, nebulized with that. And
What was that?
I was doing a whole lot of stuff. It's called budesonide, I think, Budesonide. Actually, a good friend of mine had sent that to me. And they have that name works.com. And I went there and looked at it, and it was using that in a nasal spray. A doctor was recommending that, and there was all kinds of testimonies. And so I didn't have a nebulizer, so I didn't really pursue that. But I had a friend call up who wanted to get some hydrogen sticks, and she was having a problem ordering it online. And so I helped her with that. And as I talked to her, I realized that somebody was sick around her, and she had ordered the hydrogen sticks beginning last spring to help with oxygen levels and stuff because of COVID, to keep that up. And not because she had it, but she just saw a post I did about it and said, yeah, I think I want some of that. And so she was trying to order that, and I helped her. And I picked up that somebody was kind of sick around her. And I asked, well, is there somebody worried about? And she said, well, yeah, me. So I sent her the stuff about the budesonide, and she had a nebulizer. She ended up going to a doctor, and he prescribed it for her. And she started using it. And I talked to her like 4 days later and said, how are you doing? And she says, I'm great. She said, I used that stuff for 4 days, and we're planning our Thanksgiving dinner Sunday, So anyway, so she had that. And so I got some of that and borrowed her nebulizer. And so I was using that. I'm using another product that is homeopathic right now, that it just came across Facebook. Because, when you talk about anything around Facebook, if you talk about going to San Diego, all of a sudden you're going to start seeing hotels and activities for San Diego, right? So all this stuff started coming across my Facebook about lung support. And an article popped up about this homeopathic substance. It's mullein. It's just a common plant that grows all over the place. And I actually use mullein for something else. But so I just shared it on Facebook. I thought, oh, this looks interesting. I shared it, and a friend came back and said, I just got done using that. I had tons of congestion in my lungs, and I went to a health food store, and they suggested it. She said it worked great, got rid of my congestion. And so I thought, okay, so I went in and got me some and started using that. It's a tincture of the mullein, and it's you put it 3 drops into your tongue.
M-U-L-L-E-N, mullein?
M-U-L-L-E-I-N, mullein.
Okay.
It's a tall plant that grows almost everywhere with like fuzzy leaves that come out at the bottom, and it gets a big stalk on it with a tower of yellow flowers. So you may have seen it growing. I use it, my daughter uses it. Like you can take it and dry the leaves. If you get a sliver or something in your skin, you can like put the dry mullein on there overnight with a Band-Aid, and it will draw the sliver out of your skin. So we use it that way.
You can get that at a homeopathic pharmacy or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, it's always nice, even though, most of the things that we promote are based on sizzle. Vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, mullein, those are all things that you can get at probably your local, I'm sure that most people have like a natural pharmacy or a homeopathic clinic that they can get that stuff from. So thanks for sharing that. Who doesn't end up with congestion at least one time a year, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
From any cause. So
The other thing I used, I've been using a liquid zeolite for like 10 or 11 years now, and I use it for multiple things, but typically I use it because I used to get sinus infections all the time, and now I just put a drop up each nostril when I just start feeling a little congested or something. I pinch my nose together. I do that because I know it changes the pH of the body. So I figure it's changing the pH inside my nostrils. And I sniff it up into my nose and pinch my nose, and it has gone away like every time. I use it on my grandchildren. Every time I'm around them and they've got a little sniffle, I'll make them tip their head back and I'll put some up their nose. So I had run out, and I didn't really think about using it for this, but the absolute worst thing I had with COVID was horrible headache. Before I realized what I had, my neck goes out a lot, and I thought my neck was out of place. I went to my chiropractor to get an adjustment, and it didn't really help. And I had pain through my neck, up into my skull, and then it was like in all my sinus areas in the face, and it was extreme pain. Like it kept me awake at night. I was like rolling around in my bed at night with his pain. Um, and my daughter had started using it the same way that I do and for other things. And she came over to check on me, and I said, oh, I had that all disappear one day, and then the next day it came back, and I was miserable with all this pain. And she says, oh, I had that too, because she got COVID. She says, I had that too. And she said, I used that stuff that you use, Mom, up my nostrils, and it really helped. And I said, well, I'm out of it. I have it on order, but I'm out of it. And she says, I have some, I'll bring it over to you. I put it up my nose at 8 o'clock. I put it up my nose at 11. It had already subsided somewhat at 11, and then all my pain was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still using it like once a day, just because I never want to go back there. But
Yeah.
I
Well, that's the
also,
whole thing, is that you don't want to. I mean, when you get this, you want to get over it, and then you don't want to get it again.
yeah, yep,
I
that's for
think I
sure.
think that's I think that's why they got so many people. I mean, when they come out with a vaccine, that's why so many people want to jump on board with that. Even though they realize that it's not really fully tested. But anyhow, cool. Well, I'm glad you shared with us what your experience, because I think that a lot of people really want to know. They want to know, what does it feel like? What
Hmm.
happened, and can you survive? And um,
Well,
there's
I
two
have to
cases.
say that was my experience, and the person in my family, that was his experience. Of course, he's 72, and so, and not taking nutrients of any kind, so it hit him a little harder. But what I've heard across, from all my different resources is it's a little bit different for everyone.
Yeah,
Like some people are just really sick. I wasn't
yeah,
supersonically sick, like, oh, I think I'm dying. I was concerned about my oxygen count that one night, but the biggest problem I had, other than just being weak from not enough oxygen, was that extreme head pain for me.
yeah, yeah.
So
Right. All right. Well, thanks for sharing all of that with people, and so if you're thinking that it's just a cold or a flu, it's not. I mean, and 50% of people don't even have any symptoms at all, is what they're saying.
right.
50% of people are asymptomatic. They get it and they don't even know. And then there's the people that like Andrea, where she thought she just had a neck problem, headache, and from that, and
Mm-hmm.
and it turned out that she was ended up getting sick. And then you get the people like my friend Joe, who you know um a friend of mine out western United States, and I mean, he was so bad, he was in the hospital. He was they put him on a ventilator, so
Oh, wow.
yeah. And he
Um,
said he didn't think he was going to make it, and he's in his 40s.
yeah, we had well, even my grandchildren had a day of fever and like kind of sniffles, not feeling good. And that family doctor we went to said that he's been treating a lot in the Amish community, and the children typically have that. It's just like a one day little thing for the kids. They have a little fever, don't feel so good, but they
Yeah.
just bounce right back. So all of my grandkids had it that week too.
Hmm. Okay.
So,
All right. Well, folks, there you have it. A little bit of talk about COVID and what one person's experience, one family's experience, and so let's close the call with that, Andrea.
yeah, yeah. We're,
All right.
I don't even know what we're doing on time here, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been about a half hour. So, all right. Well, folks, thanks for joining us today. And those of you that are listening to the recording, thanks for listening. And we'll be back next Tuesday. And I don't know if we'll do anything on during the Christmas week, but we probably will. We'll probably still work.
And we'll see you Friday night. Tune in with us. Invite
Yes.
some friends to hear, great testimonies that are happening with our Sizzle products.
There you go. All right. Thanks, folks. Thanks, Andrea. Have a great
Yep.
day.
Bye,
All right.
Doc.
Bye bye.